Hi guys, today we are looking into the restoration of an old Technics tape deck from 1982, the M255X. What makes it a bit special is that it has a professional grade noise reduction system called DBX and also the commonly used back in the days Dolby DBX noise reduction. According to Technics, the DBX system is capable of raising the dynamic range up to a 110 dB. The one of a CD is at 96 dB. The deck I bought here is from the outside in a pretty bad shape. There's rust on the top, some rust on the aluminium front, and also the buttons look a bit corroded, and it's overall not in the most pretty condition. It's at least complete, and I bought it for, I believe, $60 untested. Okay, so let's see if we got some life in it. The power's up, so that's a good sign. Opens. Tape indicator jumps back and forth depending on whether I open or close the door. That's not ideal. Okay, let's get me a tape. Let's see what happens. So that's a type 2 chrome dioxide type tape. Okay, that's correct. That doesn't work. Rewind works, forward works. So the belts must be to some extent okay. Play. Oh wow, okay. So at least the main belt seems to be working, but still I would look into replacing it, of course. And yeah, the counter detects movement, so that's all fine, but I don't see anything on the VU meters, so I do believe that there's probably now output getting to them. Okay, that works. Memory, repeat, counter, nice. Okay. Noise reduction. Oh, it's related to the peak. Okay. Alright, so let's take it apart and have a look inside. We also definitely have to give the front a bit of a makeover. There's even rust here on top, which is not great, but I think we should be able to get that back in a pretty good condition. Okay, it's unplugged from power. Don't want to kill myself. Let's look from the back. Okay. Doesn't look great either. The screws here on the side, they are even rusty. I might drop them in vinegar to get rid of the surface rust on top of them. More to go. Okay. Now, how bad does it look from the inside? The outside looks pretty bad. Looks actually quite nice and clean. I'm surprised. Yeah, definitely a good project. There's a lot more stuff inside than I actually expected. Again, there is some rust here on the top of the mechanism, but that's not much of an issue. And yeah, I think the first thing to troubleshoot will be, why are the VU meters not moving? And do we have any sound or down? So maybe I will just plug in my headphones and see if I can hear something. If I can hear something, all is good. It's just a VU meter issue. And if not, then maybe it's kind of a similar issue with the GXC65D actually. For some reason the signal is not getting amplified from the heads and is getting somewhere. But hopefully we'll figure that out. No, there's no sound at all, just nothing. So the issue must be somewhere here. So let's have a look at the board and start replace some capacitors, and hopefully we will get it back to life. I noticed two suspicious looking capacitors in the playback amplifier section of the board. It's C35 and C36. Time to take them out and check them. You can see there is some residue on the legs and also on the circuit board. Both of them are not even detected as capacitors, so they definitely have a problem. But not a problem, we got plenty of replacement, and I'm also going to show you how it looks on the tester when a capacitor is working correctly. Okay, so let's solder back in these two caps. They really enjoyed working on this deck because it's so easy. You can access it from the top and from the bottom. This is a moment of truth. Does it work now? And that is awesome. The tape deck is working again. But that was just the beginning of the restoration. I took the whole deck apart, removed everything I could and cleaned where I could. And of course I replaced more and more capacitors. Okay, so that part is nice and clean again, but now it's time to take care of the belts. First thing I noticed was that it's really hard to open and close the tape door. There was some old grease, and with the help of WD-40 I got rid of it. And I also started to replace the belts, but then ran into a weird issue that sometimes forward and reverse would not really engage. And I decided to go big and remove the entire mechanism out of the casing and have a good look at it. Okay, so this is now the third time I'm disassembling this mechanism. I still have this weird issue when I try to wind the tape forward or backwards, that the mechanic would not really engage. And I think I found the reason now why that is happening. I found some other footage on the internet, and it seems that there's one plastic part that is providing tension towards this bit here, is not no longer in the right place. That was this little plastic thingy that I squeezed back onto this spring, and it seems that it needs to be holding itself onto the shaft, and that's something we have to sort out. And once that is fixed, I do believe that this tape will wind backwards and forwards the way it's supposed to be. So let's have another look at it. Alright. Circuit board. So the part that is causing the issue is sitting below the little motor here. This part is for the detection for the different type of tapes that are being used. So let's get this a little bit out of the way. And let's remove the little motor. And have a look at that plastic part. I'm not sure what could be the solution for this. If we need to 3D print the part, and that in a way there would be a tight fit onto the shaft, or if I can sort out the problem in a different way. Okay, screw number 2. So there's a belt that goes around this motor, and here's the part I'm talking about. It's kind of stuck here on this motor now. It's just grease, and this is supposed to hold on tightly onto this shaft here. That's what I learned, and I think probably over time it stopped just doing that. Oh no! Did it snap into place, or is it just my imagination? It's now kind of stuck below this one here. No, it doesn't. So that's a bit of a problem. What can we do? Here's also no groove. I noticed that there's actually a crack in that part, and with that little wire, which you see in the picture here, I was able to fix the problem. But also the tape detection is not really working reliably, so I thought I give these switches also a bit of a check and see if they're really engaged and if the connections are all working. Didn't really find anything wrong with the switches itself, but thought it's a good opportunity to keep the transport and the head an extra clean. For cleaning the head, I'm just using a little bit of IPA as usual. Time for reassembly, and at this time I hope it's actually the last time. Let's hope for the best, and forward and rewind is working. And then I thought the door actually deserves also a good clean. Luckily you can actually disassemble it in its pieces, and that makes it really easy to give it a very good thorough clean. made a huge difference. Looks great. The front of the device actually required quite a bit of attention. What I'm using here is called Never Dull. It's actually a chrome polish for your car or your motorcycle. I was pretty happy with the end result. After installing everything back in the deck, I noticed that the tape detection still had a bit of an issue. Okay, so this is the connector here in question. And by the way, that's the AN6256 that is taking care of that feature of the tape detection. So I remove that plug. It only has 2 wires, and depending on what tape is inserted, one or both of them would connect to ground with some simple switches, and that's it. So to test that, I'm using some patching cables out of an Arduino kit. And just hook it up here to one wire, one pin, I should say. Connect these. So that way I convert it to something that I can actually push somewhere. Then looking at the schematics, I know that this here on the power supply is ground. Okay, so let's turn on tape deck. Okay, so obviously there's no tape inside, and it just goes straight into metal, which is wrong. So we take our connector here, that thing, and poke it into ground. And look at that, we got chrome dioxide. Perfect. So then, after figuring out that that works, I tried something else. I just pulled ground from this point onto the whole tape drive, and that also worked. Immediately, it would work perfectly, and it would detect actually the different types of tape that I would put into the mechanism here. So what I will do is I will add a separate ground wire somewhere here, and that will resolve the issue. And after that we are pretty much done. We cleaned the tape door, we fixed the belts, we cleaned the VO meter and everything, already cleaned the buttons, took care of the alloy front, and I also spray painted the cover in silver color. So soon we can all bring it back together, and we consider then this tape deck fully restored. Okay, so I have installed the cable here and just put that between the original ground here I picked from there. Plugged that back in, and now it tells me there's a chrome dioxide tape inside. Eject it, it goes to normal. Only have one remaining issue. When I put normal position tape into the tape deck, it stays at chrome dioxide because this arm needs to be pushed a little bit further up. So what I will do is I will disassemble the top of the tape deck again. Just at the moment 2 screws in, and I will adjust the little switch here behind a little bit so that it just triggers a bit earlier, and that should be enough that when the tape is inside that it also turns on to normal. And after that I think this part will be done, and that's really awesome. I will put the front back on, and what's left then is still plenty of stuff that has to be done. We still have to do all these adjustments and have to calibrate the tape deck. So here's the mechanism I'm talking about. Here are these little switches. It's a very simple construction when you look at it. And I will adjust this one a little bit so that the normal position tapes will trigger. So let's try this again. Turn it on. It jumps to metal. That's what it always does. I don't know why, but it's not important. I'm not sure if the adjustment was enough. Yeah, it looks good. We got normal. So the next thing that needs to work is that this one tells us it's chrome dioxide, and that's what it does. Okay, that's perfect. I'm happy. So that means it can start to reassemble the front again. Excellent. Okay, so that was a test. Playback and rewind works perfectly. And what we're going to do next is adjusting the speed by playing the tape that has a 6 kHz tone on it. On the bottom of the screen of my little oscilloscope you can see the frequency counter, and it changes while I'm adjusting the adjustment screw on the motor of the tape deck for the speed. Once close enough to 6 kHz, the speed of the tape deck has been calibrated. I still found some bad looking capacitors in the deck. This one is on the Dolby board, and I decided to make a full capacitor replacement for the entire tape deck. And these are all the capacitors that have been removed and replaced with new ones. The project turned out so well that I really got excited, and I thought I'd create some stickers that I want to put on top of the tape deck. So here we have a successful restoration, a great looking deck, and it performs even better. How well it performs will I show in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. And thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next video.